Your kindness didn't protect you. It destroyed you. You mistook surrender for love. You called it patience. You called it dignity. It was collapse. You begged to be seen. That's when you vanished. Invisible. Forgotten. Erased. The fracture was not their betrayal. It was yours. You chose comfort. You fed them your silence. You offered weakness as loyalty. Approval is the cheapest drug. You overdosed daily. Each smile, another needle. Each compromise, another vein cut. You traded strength for scraps. And they watched you bleed. This is the wound. You destroyed yourself to be accepted. Weakness is self-inflicted. The fire was always there. You buried it in shame. You swallowed every scream. You wore the mask of calm. But rage is clarity. It strips illusion. It sears lies. It burns pity. Your hesitation betrayed you. Not them. Not fate. Not destiny. You clenched fists in the dark. You whispered revenge into pillows. But dawn came, and you walked soft again. Softness didn't protect you. It painted you prey. Kindness made you invisible. Predators smelled your weakness. Faster than blood. They circled your table. Every smile said, "Use me." And they obeyed. Stop calling it betrayal. Start naming it hunger. They devoured because you invited. The fracture was older than you admit. It began the day you chose comfort. The day you hid behind patience. The day you silenced your edge. Truth, weakness is not stolen. It is surrendered. You surrendered gladly. The mask wasn't protection. It was a cage. And you locked yourself in. Excuses are elegant cages. Excuses rot quietly. Excuses eat men alive. You lied to yourself longer than anyone lied to you. Machiavelli warned, "He who is despised is easily destroyed." Despised by others. Despised by yourself. Both fatal. What you called dignity was cowardice in disguise. You clung to illusion. That softness could earn loyalty. It only bred contempt. This is the mirror. You were the architect of your collapse. Now you forge a law. No first move. You never reach first. You never beg first. You never call first. You never bleed first. Power comes to you. You set the frame. You hold the silence. You dictate the rhythm. This drill begins now. No first move for 48 hours. No reply until 11:30 or 19:30. Stone face until provoked twice. Scarcity is power. Presence is status. Availability is decay. Stop being a servant. Stop being a toy. Stop being a mirror. You are the fire. You are the frame. You are the fracture reborn. Scarcity builds value. Visualize the shattered crown. Now wear its fragments as armor. You are not erased. You are reforged. The wound gave birth to fire. The fracture created the forge. And silence, sharpened, becomes a blade. Now the verdict. One law remains. Etch it into your chest. Weakness is surrender. Power waits. Approval kills. Scarcity crowns. Never move first. Never bleed first. Repeat it until it scars. Repeat it until it hardens. Repeat it until silence bends around you. You were shattered. Now you are steel. They fractured you. But the fire will rebuild you. Your chest still carries the echo. Their laughter. Their betrayal. Their silence after leaving you. You replay nights alone. You replay their words. You replay the hollow after trust collapsed. The wound is not gone. It drips into every silence. It festers in every pause. You swallowed it. You told yourself patience. You told yourself it doesn't matter. But it mattered. The wound leaks rage. Every memory sparks fire. Every insult breathes flame. You avoided it. You numbed it. But rage never disappears. You weren't weak because they betrayed. You were weak because you refused to strike inward first. Their insult was not fatal. Your hesitation was. Rage is clarity. This is the wound. It still bleeds. And it waits to be weaponized. Your rage is not sickness. It is signal. It is weapon. It is war drum. You clench fists in the dark. You grind teeth at memory. You whisper vengeance into the pillow. But when dawn comes, you soften. You bow. You smile. You surrender. That's the fracture. Rage denied. Rage buried. Rage wasted. Rage reveals truth. It strips illusion. It burns lies. They thought you harmless. They thought you tame. They thought you'd bleed quietly. Your silence was the enemy. Not your rage. Not your fire. But your silence. They saw patience. They saw weakness. They took freely. Every predator reads passivity. Every wolf smells hesitation. Faster than blood. Stop calling rage dangerous. Start calling it sight. Because in fire, illusions burn. Here is the realization. Rage was never your enemy. It was your hesitation. You thought calm meant respect. You thought silence meant dignity. You thought restraint meant strength. But silence without edge is slavery. Patience without power is cowardice. Calm without fire is decay. Your enemies feared not your kindness. They mocked it. They fed on it. They weaponized it. Machiavelli warned, hatred is safer than contempt. Verify. You weren't hated. You were pitied. Despised. Forgotten. You believed rage made you weak. But weakness was your cage. Weakness was your mask. Rage is not chaos. Rage is command. Rage is clarity. Truth is simple. Your fire was never danger. Your silence was. Masks rot faster than wounds. This is the revelation. You are not broken. You are burning. Now we rebuild. You will learn to weaponize fire. Weaponized silence. Your rage will not scream. It will not beg. It will not explain. Your rage will be absence. Your rage will be delay. Your rage will be discipline. The drill. 3-second pause. Then 5. Then 8. Build silence into stone. Let others speak. Let others reveal. You sit. You wait. You burn inward. The silence is not empty. It is loaded. It is fire concealed. Scarcity window. Respond only at 11:30 to 12 o'clock. Respond only at 19:30 to 8 p.m. Everything outside? Silence. The predator now circles confusion. They don't smell weakness. They sense mystery, unreadability, danger. Your silence becomes heat. Your pauses become weight. Your fire becomes unseen gravity. Scarcity is furnace. Patience is steel. Silence is flame. You no longer waste rage. You forge it into presence. Silence is fire disguised. This is how the fire rebuilds you. Now comes the verdict. One command. One law. Rage is clarity. Use it. Silence must burn. Never bury fire. Forge it. Repeat it until it cuts. Repeat it until silence bends. Repeat it until rage obeys. This is your command. Never deny rage. Never waste it. Never bury it. They fractured you. But fire reforged you. You were ashes. Now you are furnace. Burn illusions. Burn excuses. Burn hesitation. And rise. Because rage rebuilds. The mirror waits. It does not flatter. It does not forgive. You look into it. You see the cracks. Not from them, from you. You've lied longer to yourself than anyone ever lied to you. You called pity self-care. You called indulgence healing. You called weakness being human. But excuses are elegant cages. They shine. They soothe. They kill. Every excuse you spoke became another lock on your chains. Every reason you made became another mask you hid behind. The mirror has no sympathy. It holds scars. It reflects wounds. It reveals your rot. The wound is not what they did. The wound is what you protect. The lie you won't kill. Excuses are cages. This is your fracture now. Not betrayal. Not insult. But the comfort of excuses. You should be furious. At them? No. At yourself. For every illusion you fed. For every mask you polished. For every story you sold yourself. You pretended weakness was virtue. You pretended passivity was grace. You pretended silence was wisdom. Lies. All lies. You knew the truth. You felt it. The mirror showed it. You just refused to look. You told yourself time would heal. It didn't. It worsened. You told yourself they'd regret leaving. They didn't. They forgot. You told yourself destiny would fix it. It won't. The fury belongs here, inside your skin, directed at your hesitation, at your addiction to comfort. Pity is poison disguised as love. This rage is cleansing. It is aimed inward. It burns self-deception. Here is the truth. It cuts. It cannot be softened. You were not a victim. You were a co-conspirator. You built your cage. You locked yourself inside. And you begged the world to admire your prison. Truth without brutality is fiction. So stop lying. They did not destroy you. You destroyed yourself. They did not silence you. You gagged your own mouth. The mirror doesn't lie. You do. And here is Machiavelli's law. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Verify. You thought words would save you. You thought apologies meant growth. You thought weakness would earn kindness. But the world does not honor excuses. It honors only results. The realization is this. Your excuses were worse than betrayal. They were suicide. Now you face the mirror again. Not to hide, but to interrogate. Identity audit. 3 questions. No escape. What do they gain? What am I signaling? What if I say nothing? Every answer cuts deeper. Every silence burns clearer. Excuses rot. Truth rebuilds. You strip false stories. You burn lies to ash. You forge scars into proof. Scarcity is not just time. It is truth. It is the refusal to waste words. You no longer justify. You no longer explain. You no longer beg to be understood. You state. You command. You exit. When you leave a room, what story remains? That is your reputation. That is your shadow. The identity audit forces clarity. It removes masks. It kills pity. It crowns scars. The mirror doesn't lie, you do. This is your forge. Burn excuses. Keep scars. Stand naked in truth. Now comes the verdict. The mirror speaks. No excuses remain. Excuses are suicide. Kill them. Truth without brutality is fiction. Scars speak. Excuses rot. Repeat it until it scars. Repeat it until it hardens. The law is simple. You owe yourself brutality. No one else will give it. Stand before the mirror. Interrogate. Burn illusions. Honor scars. This is command. Stop feeding lies. Stop honoring excuses. Stop calling weakness human. The fracture is no longer wound. It is weapon. And the mirror is now your judge. You wasted yourself. Not once. Not twice. Every day. Every reply too quick. Every call answered instantly. Every presence too available. Scarcity died. And with it, your value. They read your eagerness as desperation. They read your loyalty as weakness. They read your presence as need. The truth is cruel. Attention is your bleeding wound. You gave it freely. You gave it recklessly. You thought being available proved worth. It proved the opposite. It made you disposable. Abundance does not attract. It repels. It kills respect. Every second you gave too easily was another fracture in your armor. Scarcity was the crown you never wore. And because you wasted it, they never feared losing you. Availability is decay. Be furious at your waste. You opened every door. You answered every knock. You bowed to every call. You became cheap. Not from lack of value. From lack of scarcity. You treated your time like trash. They treated you like trash. And now rage returns. At yourself. For bleeding presence. For handing away fire. Scarcity is not cruelty. It is discipline. It is steel. You thought speed proved care. It proved weakness. Scarcity is status. Every man who answers instantly kills his power instantly. They didn't exploit your absence. They exploited your presence. They knew you'd bend. They knew you'd come. They knew you'd give. Scarcity is furnace. Abundance is rot. Choose your rage wisely. Direct it at your old self. The man who begged to be seen. Here is the law. Abundance is death. Scarcity is life. They did not discard you because you lacked value. They discarded you because you gave too much. You mistook access for love. You mistook constant presence for loyalty. You mistook instant replies for strength. All illusions. All lies. The realization is brutal. Scarcity was never optional. It was your weapon. And you dropped it. Machiavelli warned. Men value lightly what is obtained easily. You were too easy. Too near. Too constant. Scarcity signals power. Scarcity builds myth. Scarcity crowns kings. You learned it late. But you learn it now. This is the furnace. Discipline is scarcity. Scarcity is survival. Reputation is your shadow. Now we forge. Reputation protocol. 3 rules. Story told when you leave the room, write it. Starve the rest. No explanations, no clarifications. Build myth, through scarcity, through silence. This is your forge. Discipline creates scarcity. Scarcity creates value. You will not answer instantly. You will not explain absence. You will not justify silence. Scarcity windows. Respond only at 11:30 to 12 o'clock. Respond only at 19:30 to 8 p.m. All else, vanish. You don't owe constant presence. You don't owe constant access. You owe only scarcity. When you leave, they must feel absence. When you speak, they must feel weight. No reaction for 48 hours. No reply until discipline is tested twice. Your silence is not avoidance. It is law. This is the forge. Silence plus scarcity equals power. Your reputation is the steel. Your absence is the fire. Your discipline is the hammer. Forge in cold silence. Now the law is branded. The forge is sealed. Scarcity crowns. Abundance kills. Availability destroys kings. Reputation is forged in absence. This is your doctrine. Stop answering first. Stop explaining. Stop bleeding presence. You are furnace. You are scarcity. You are reputation. They will feel your silence. They will fear your absence. They will speak your name carefully. Discipline is no longer choice. It is survival. It is throne. The forge crowns you. And from scarcity, you rise untouchable. Need is chains. It has dragged you for years. You thought craving proved love. You thought begging proved loyalty. You thought needing proved bond. But need enslaved you. Every answer, another shackle. Every reach, another lock. They saw your hunger. They used it. They despised it. You confused attachment with respect. It was the opposite. The more you clung, the less you mattered. The wound was never betrayal. The wound was your dependence. The world does not crown the needy. It crowns the indifferent. The fracture taught you pain. The fire taught you rage. The mirror taught you truth. Now the crown demands indifference. Need is slavery. Be furious at your need. It made you crawl. It made you wait. It made you beg. You weren't respected. You were tolerated. Because you could not let go. You thought obsession earned devotion. It earned contempt. Dependence was your silent leash. They tugged it. You followed. Every time. Now rage burns. Not at them. At your hunger. At your desperation. Detachment selects the loyal. You see it now. Your need blinded you. Your need enslaved you. Your need erased you. And rage must burn it dead. If you cannot kill need, it will kill you. Indifference is not cruelty. It is selection. It filters the weak. It reveals the loyal. This fury is the crown's fire. Here is the revelation. Power does not chase. Power chooses. Power selects. You wasted years clinging. You wasted years explaining. You wasted years begging. Need never crowned you. It stripped you. It mocked you. Indifference does not mean absence of care. It means control of care. It means choice of care. Machiavelli warned. It is much safer to be feared than loved. Fear is born from detachment. Respect grows from restraint. Loyalty survives indifference. The crown sits on those who can walk away. The realization is brutal. You were enslaved by hunger. Now you must rule with indifference. Not coldness without reason, but coldness as filter. This is how the crown rests steady. Indifference crowns kings. Now you rebuild as crowned. Final voice. Your words end the conversation. Your silence ends the room. Your presence ends the debate. You do not argue. You do not plead. You do not justify. Indifference is not absence. It is control. You select who enters. You select who remains. You select who fades. The ring rule revealed. The less you circle them, the more they orbit you. This is law. Orbit comes to gravity, not the other way. So you shrink your ring. You cut access. You crown yourself. Scarcity gave you steel. Now indifference gives you throne. You don't fight to stay. You don't fight to prove. You don't fight to explain. You remain. You select. You discard. The crown is indifference. The rebuild is simple. Stop clinging. Start selecting. Rule in silence. Now the crown closes. The verdict stands. Indifference crowns. Need enslaves. Power selects, never begs. Detachment is the throne. This is your doctrine. Never chase. Never cling. Never beg. You are crown. You are gravity. You are orbit. They come to you, or they vanish. You no longer collapse into hunger. You no longer explain absence. You no longer surrender to chains. You rule with cold fire. You rule with silent indifference. The fracture is healed. The fire is forged. The mirror is cleared. Now the crown rests. Night air in the corridor. Cold banners barely move. Stone remembers every footstep. You walk alone now. No crowd. No noise. Only breath and echo. Once, you begged to be seen. Once, you chased shadows. Once, you mistook noise for worth. They forgot you fast then. Because you were loud. Because you were needy. Because you were everywhere. Legend is not everywhere. Legend is elsewhere. Legend is absence with teeth. Remember the fracture? Kindness made you invisible. Hunger made you small. That man is over. Now the hall knows your pace. Now the door feels your pause. Now silence bends toward you. The wound that remains is simple. You fear being forgotten again. So you overshare. So you overprove. So you overstay. That's how legends die. Not by defeat. By exposure. Be the rumor, not the boast. Aim the fire at your need to explain. Burn the urge to be understood. Burn the itch to be liked. You owe them nothing. Not your story. Not your schedule. Not your heart. You tried generosity without edges. They took. They laughed. They left. Now the rage is colder. Directed. Precise. Surgical. You don't scream anymore. You reduce. You restrict. You remove. Every legend is edited. Cut words. Cut access. Cut availability. Noise is a tax on power. Pay nothing. Your path is war drum quiet. 3 beats. Then silence. Then gaze. They feel the weight. You do not flinch. You do not chase. When you must speak, you carve. When you must stop, you freeze. The old hunger stirs. You starve it. Again. Again. Here is the truth. Legends are engineered, not discovered. They are designed in absence. They are proven in outcomes. They are carried by others' mouths. You don't manufacture all by talking. You manufacture all by withholding. You prove it by results. As Machiavelli observed, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you are. Appear unreadable. Deliver undeniable. Let the gap breed myth. A legend is not mystery alone. It is mystery with receipts. Silence with victories. The fracture taught you edges. The fire taught you fuel. The forge taught you scarcity. The crown taught you indifference. Now the legend teaches you orbit. You do not move toward light. Light moves toward you. Visibility is cheap. Memory is expensive. Be expensive. Make attention earn you. Make access past trials. Now we codify command. The unreadable face, aura from stillness, reveal nothing you don't intend. Practice, doorway pause. 1 full breath. Then enter. Pitch, down 1 step. Tempo, -10%. Clause end eye lock. Sentence shape, short, heavy, final. 3 beats. Then, scarcity windows remain. 11:30 to 12 o'clock. 19:30 to 8 p.m. Outside those, silence. Disagreement macro. That's incorrect. What evidence are you relying on? Then hold the void. Do not nod while disagreeing. Do not smile while refusing. Do not explain after ending. Room management. Stand slightly oblique. Feet planted. Shoulders still. Hands quiet at midline. No fidget. No flourish. No performance. When asked for more, say, "That's sufficient." If pressed, we'll revisit. Then exit. Reputation reinforcement. One decisive outcome per week. No victory logs posted. Let others retell. You are not hiding. You are harvesting. You are letting myth compound. Stillness radiates danger. Sensory anchor your aura. Cold marble, faint bell, distant wind. Let rooms remember temperature changes. When you arrive, when you leave. Now the doctrine seals. Final cadence. War drum low. Speak like stone. End like steel. Be unreadable. Deliver results. Become untouchable. Say less. Win more. Vanish. Orbit comes to gravity, not noise. Repeat the law until habits harden. Hold the pauses. Guard the windows. Cut the excess. You are not a speech. You are an atmosphere. You are not a post. You are a presence. When they ask who you are, let the room answer. When they push for more, sharpen silence. Now close the circle. Lower the flame. Lift the crown. Final 10 seconds. One breath. One nod. One word. Untouchable.